Again, another heater. Check this out. Look at that cold area. See, that's the chimney. All behind that wall, it's extra cold, relatively speaking, to the wall surrounding each side of it there. All relatively speaking. If you touch it, it probably doesn't feel too different, but this picks up the difference on here. What's up, guys? Jake with TN Practical, coming up with a special video. Today it's New Year's Eve, so happy New Year's to you when you're probably watching this. Today I'm going to show you probably one of the coolest little pieces of equipment that I've gotten for the main channel that I wanted to share with you. I thought you might like it. This is, without a doubt, the smallest thermal camera and probably one of the most budget-friendly thermal cameras you can get. So check this out. All right, get nice and focused there. So that's a little cover there. This right here is like the smallest thermal camera that I've ever seen. Now there's a few different companies out there that make these tiny little thermal cameras. It actually connects through a little lightning cable input, so it works with your phone essentially. Now, as you can tell, this actually connects through the lightning cable to go and work with iPhones. They do also have a different version where it'll work and connect to like your Android phones as well. Anyways, awesome little gift. Works out really well with my iPhone 13 Pro. Yes, I need to upgrade, but this is the phone I still have. This little device here, of how small it is and compact, it's actually pretty powerful. It comes in roughly about 300 bucks on Amazon. I'll put links down below for you too. I thought it might be cool just to show you some of the features of it and what it looks like, because honestly, it blows my mind. A lot of times people will use this if they're out surveying a site, like maybe you're looking for cold spots in your house or so on. You're trying to figure out where insulation needs to be put. A lot of times you've worked on like car engines or computer equipment, you might want to look for hot spots, so you might want to use one of these. Or if you're like me, you just like to maybe film thermal stuff like gunshots. Don't know why you'd want to do that. This is a totally non-firearms related channel here. We're just talking about this cool thermal camera. We would never use this to see how much heat bullets put off. Who would do that? We would never use this to see how much heat come off of bullets when they hit rubber targets or see how hot barrels get. Why would we do that? This is a good family-friendly channel. TN Practical. There's no other channel like that with a similar name. No, of course not. Again, 300 bucks. And the cool thing is they do have an app with the iPhone, but you can use other apps like third-party apps, and it does connect with those. One thing I found kind of finicky is trying to make it fit this little device here with my OtterBox case. I've got this huge, thick boy OtterBox case, and it gets in the way. If I just try to connect it here, it doesn't work. Like, it's not going in enough. See that? Yeah, there's too much gap. What I actually had to do was I had to go online and I had to search for a little extension adapter thing, and I managed to find one. Now you gotta be careful because a lot of times these little adapters are only gonna be for charging. This little guy right here. This one was actually for not just charging, but transmitting data, such as this little camera. So you just plug that in there. I'm pretty sure it can be inserted either way, much like lightning cables are supposed to be, but just in case, I always put it in like this into my phone. So like this, I'm just gonna stick it in there. Stick it in. Oh, and this can definitely go the other way, which is a lot easier to use. You know what I'm saying? And you have to hold your hand up like this so it doesn't like block the camera. It's down here. It's hard to get used to that. So if I go into my app here, let's see, I've got a couple apps I'm using. The default one is called Temp Master, and right there you can see it already connects to the camera. Hit that there. It's loading. It takes a second here. But then once it loads up, there's my thermal. Oops, gotta refresh. You've got a bunch of different color modes. So again, that trash can's warm. I'm not really sure why, but it's all relative. So it's not like the trash can's hot. It's just hotter compared to everything else. Let's go to the car here. So the car here, it's got a little bit of a hot spot. Not really though, because it's been sitting there for a little while. You've got different color modes though too. So I'm using the Kita, whatever, CITA, with a weird little dash above it. As you can see, you've got white hot, black hot, iron red hot, where if it's like really hot spots it turns red, but otherwise it's black and white. Rainbow, jungle, which is more like green and yellow and some orange. Aurora, which is pretty much similar to the rainbow stuff. This Kita, I like this one because it really does a full spectrum of color for everything from hot to cold. Dim light, which is whatever. And then it goes gold, lava, and medical, which medical pretty much looks the same, except down here it's all dark purple. I guess that might be good for medical, I don't know. So you can actually click the camera down here and you can actually take videos as I'm recording right now, you see. Okay. And you can take pictures if you want to as well, which I haven't done that yet, so allow while using app, allow once, whatever. Up here you can change a couple things. So this X3 up here smooths out the thing, the rendering. Now if you take it off, I don't know if you can see that, it looks a little bit rougher. Maybe you can't tell on camera, but it's a little bit grainier. Whereas if I turn that on, it resolves itself and smooths things out. Very nice. Check out that little transformer up there. In fact, what I'll do is I'll actually start recording a clip here and let you guys kind of see what it looks like. So there's my hand, quite warm as you see there. And as it switches around, it takes in all the different heat range. But check this out. Up there, you're going to see that transformer up there is extremely hot. Check that out. See it? It's extremely hot. So very cool. I'm going to take the camera with me, show you a couple other interesting uses for it, really. Check this out. Got some chickens and ducks there. They're hiding. I don't know why they're afraid of me. What is it? Here comes a dog. What is it, Dogapet? What is it, honey? Yes. One thing I want to show you that's really interesting is this wood chip pile. And a lot of y'all who are probably into tree cutting or have experienced landscaping probably already know what I'm about to show you. Look how hot that is. Isn't that crazy? Okay, I just dug around a little bit and you can see it is extremely hot. Right where I dug up the mulch a bit, you can even see it. It's crazy. It's like actually really hot. We came out here the other day over Christmas break and dug really deep. It actually almost burned myself. You won't be able to see it out here really, but you can actually see a little bit of steam coming off of the pile. Again, it's about 50 degrees out here. So the fact that this is that warm, that lit up is crazy. Like here's me, see my leg? It's the same color as that pile right there. It's not just like a relative heat index thing. There's my actual leg. And my leg is just as warm, if not cooler, than those bright yellow spots. Word of advice is if you ever have to cut a whole bunch of trees down like we did, make sure you get the pile spray out more. Now it's cold, relatively speaking, so we still got time, but I definitely need to spread this out because it will be eventually a fire hazard once things dry out in the spring and summer. Now we're gonna actually go inside the house. This is black and white. Now this is actually pretty useful too. I always like the white hot. Look at that vent. It's crazy. Also, look, I'm leaving footprints. We've got a little heater underneath this cabinet here, hence the white. There's the coffee maker, obviously hot. Got a little bit of warmth coming off of this, probably from the sunlight. Again, another heater. Check this out. Look at that cold area. See, that's the chimney. All behind that wall, it's extra cold, relatively speaking, to the wall surrounding each side of it there. All relatively speaking. If you touch it, it probably doesn't feel too different, but this picks up the difference on here. This light here, obviously hot. This outlet, that little thing plugged in, is hot. Okay, got a little warmth coming off down here. Probably just from the fridge, ventilating all the air out to make it cold inside. One interesting thing about thermal is you'll notice you can't see outside windows, or through windows rather. It does a weird reflection thing. I'm not sure how that works, but you actually can't see through windows at all. Pretty neat. There's a nice warm spot there because that's where some big man was sitting there. Nice and cozy. There's the TV. That's the Roku back there. Look at that. That thing's lit up. Like I hinted at earlier, it does work with multiple different apps. So this is the app that comes with. If I go in here, I can switch to this Thermal P2 app. It's loading. The cool thing about this Thermal P2 app is it'll actually target the hottest and coldest spots on the screen that it sees. It's actually got a center spot, and that's going to be wherever I'm targeting at, but it'll also measure the hottest and coldest spots here as well. So very cool. Now you'll see here, you can also switch the palettes on here, much like the other. In fact, they're even named the same palettes here. Golden red, medical, dim light, gold, red hot, and that Sita, whatever it's called. I like this one the most, especially because like it'll look through here and it'll automatically target the hottest spots. For example, it's targeting my hand there. As you see that little dot, it's saying it's 80 or 81 degrees Fahrenheit. The coldest spot's coming off that car, like 41 degrees Fahrenheit, and the center spot's saying 51 degrees. This to me, I think is pretty useful because you can actually use it for, again, just identifying hot spots, cold spots a lot quicker, and it gives you the actual temperature of that spot as well. So this is really cool. I really like it. I think it's gonna be super useful for the main channel, but I think it's neat enough to show you guys here on TM Practical as well, so that if you're interested in getting a thermal device, this might be the best way to go. I will link the Thermal Master as well as the little adapter thing I had to use. You can plug it in directly into your phone, but I had to take it out of the case, and I found it to be a big pain in the ass, so I was thankful to just find the right adapter that actually works. But I'll link both of those devices down below if you want to check them out. Again, if you ever thought about getting the thermal, this might be a great way to do it. Also, almost forgot, came with a couple extra cables here, lightning to like a USB-C extension. Again, a shorter version of that, lightning to USB-C. I couldn't use those when I was trying to make it work with the OtterBox. Keep that in mind. It does give you a couple of other options as well, especially where iPhones are starting to switch to USB-C. But the last thing I want to show you is that with this camera, so there's your actual camera part. At first I thought this was just a little protective cover, but you can actually, if I carefully do it, you can actually remove that black rubber piece, and that's actually a macro lens. So you could actually use that to look at really small stuff up close. Like when I say up close, we're talking about like fingerprints and really small stuff. I took a little bit of footage here that I'll show you, a little bit of recorded stuff in my office. I also tried to use it on like my computer parts, and you'll see that it doesn't really do that well compared to just the regular lens there, as you see. This is awesome though. This is just right. It's right size for what you need for everyday application stuff. And it just clips on magnetically. So very nice. And of course you got your little rubber cap there to protect it all. This whole setup is fragile. Like I could see myself easily snapping this shit and breaking it, but I'm just gonna try to be careful and keep everything intact as best as I can. The first video for TM Practical, and I thought this might be a cool one to show off. I'll put Amazon links down below. They do help support the channel and the other channel as well for our other future endeavors we might do. But I honestly just thought this was really cool. I wanted to show it to you today. I like it. I think if you're looking for a cheap, budget-friendly thermal camera that's not going to break the bank, you'll like it too. Guys, that's going to wrap up today. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. What do you think about this thermal camera? I think it's pretty sweet. I'd love to hear from you. We will see you next time. Cameras you can get. In fact, this is, whoops, I just dropped something. Oh.